Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am back for another Slim Sports interview. And as always, I'm your host, Jay Slim. And joining me today, 6'4" guard from New Orleans Privateers, but he plays like he's 7 foot with all the highlights he's getting on these people. The man with unlimited vert, Jamond Turk Vincent. How's it going, man?
It's going good, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, absolutely. Got to have you on last year where you had a great season, breakout year for the Privateers. And this past year, you went through a whole lot of changes with coaching staff, new players, and you still held strong, did what you could to help your team, and still put up some great numbers. And I want fans, viewers that aren't familiar with your name to get familiar with it and your history in a quick segment that I like to call Rewind and Recap. Just going to rewind the clock, talk a little bit about what you've been through over the past couple of years, spending all 4 years of your collegiate career with the University of New Orleans. Uh, I mean, put up highlights left and right, like we keep talking about. You had an ESPN top 10 dunk versus Houston Christian last year as a junior. And then this past season, coaching change, you were one of only three returners to come back from that New Orleans squad, but still managed to reach career high numbers across the board on this past season, whether it was career high points in a game, uh, improved your 3 point percentage and free throw percentage on the season, had career high numbers overall for that. I mean, left and right, you were able to find ways to improve, which speaks to the character that you have, the mentality that you have, to always adapt and find ways to fit. Even though you had a whole new coaching staff with a new style of play, new system that they were running, how would you describe the role of this past year specifically after, being that veteran guy the past 3 years, learning under Coach Schlesinger and all of them? Now you have to learn all of this new stuff in a short amount of time. How would you say you really were able to adapt to fit their new style to where it was able to blend in with your skill set?
Honestly, like that's part of the game, like that's even when you're going against different teams, you got to learn how to adapt to this style of play. So, like, I mean, it was kind of like second nature, honestly. And coach always looked at me as a leader, and well, that's honestly that's every coach. They always look at me as the leader. I'm always vocal. I'll be talking to the players. I make sure everybody's in their spot. Just gotta make sure everything is right. And then me being a senior this year, like I had to take on that role of being the older guy and making everything go. Well, at least go at that given time. So, but overall, man, it was fun while it lasted. I really have no issues with Coach Stacy, the team. I mean, it was we just our chemistry was not there all the way, and we just had some things we needed to clean up.
Yeah, and you yourself, like we talked about under close Coach Schlesinger for your first 3 years there, fought your way into being a starter as a junior. You were a key part of that system. And then this past year, through most of the season, you were coming off the bench, and then obviously had a great stretch there towards the end where you were able to earn that starting spot once again. How would you say you were able to work into that starting role once again? Able to show your coaching staff like, hey, I'm legit. I can be a big time force for us. I can help us from the get-go, from the opening tip to help us win some games.
Um, Confidence. I kind of like in the beginning of the year, I lost my confidence. I was going through a lot. Mental health is serious, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. So, uh, just dealing with that kind of set me back. And I had a talk with Coach Stacy, and we was like we're gonna work our way through it. He like I wouldn't say he gave me like a margin to find myself, but he helped me through it. And then after a while, I told him like, "Hey, Coach, I feel good. Like I think tonight is gonna be one of those nights." And he was like, "Trust me, I know. I believe you. You've been there. I've been telling you since day one, even when you had the bad games. Like it's gonna go. It's gonna go down. That shot that you've been looking for is gonna fall." And sure enough, it did. And then from there, like I kept the ball rolling, and it's like I felt like I was me again. And I tell you one thing, that felt like the best feeling in the world too. It's like they give you that joy that you've been seeking for so long. So that right there, it felt good, man.
Yeah, it was nice to see you score a new career high this past season. We'll get into that here in just a little bit because trust me, I want to talk about that specifically because I was so happy. Watched that game live on ESPN Plus and was super excited for you. But real quick, before we get into that, got to talk about, the fact that you were only one of three returners coming back. Josh Short and Omarion Henry and yourself, I believe, were the only three returners from a year ago. And Henry, he didn't see the floor this year because of injury. You and Josh Short were the only two on the court, but Short was a sophomore. You're going into your senior year. So you're this guy that everybody's looking to, to get used to the University of New Orleans, get used to the city, find where the bathrooms are in the facilities, just simple stuff like that. You were probably the biggest guy that people were looking towards. How would you say you really accepted that kind of role? I know you said that everybody's always looked to you as a leader, but how did you really take on that role of being that primary dude to help bring all of these newcomers to the program together?
And honestly, like I feel like I do it all the time. So like I said, it's like second nature. Because anytime we have people come, like they always look at me because I'm the hometown guy. Like I'm from here, so it's like what's here? Like what's there to do? So it's like you kind of get used to doing it. So over time, it's like people sometimes don't even have to ask. Like if you knew, I'm gonna come up to you and be like, "Hey man, like." I know you knew this is that, you know what I'm saying? So just to get everybody comfortable. And I mean, everybody was like from the start, it was just like, hey man, what's this? Where's this? How did I get this? And you'd be like, sometimes it's overwhelming, but once you get the process going, it's like, man, you feel good about yourself because you get to help your teammates and then they get to help somebody else. So it just trickles down, you know?
Absolutely. And obviously, they knew that they could rely on you on and off the court because they've seen what you have done with this program already.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the ESPN top 10 dunk that you had last season, putting up some great numbers. And man, you had some more highlights, more poster dunks this past season. And I want to talk about some of them specifically in a segment that I like to call Make That Play. In this segment, I'm going to talk about the top three that I had. I went through Synergy, looked through all of them, and obviously you and I both know you had some great dunks throughout the season, great overall plays, even shooting the three ball. But obviously I'm the fan in the stands. I'm just the guy looking at the highlights from a spectator's point of view. You're the guy on the court doing what you do best. So what would you say was your top play from this past season?
My top play, um, I like I like the Kansas State dunk. I like that one. It's three of them. So I like the Kansas State dunk. I like the Northwestern State buzzer beater. Well, shot clock buzzer beater from the timeline. And what's another one? What's another good one? The Houston Christian dunk when I swept middle and dunked on the guy.
You must be looking at my notes somehow, because those are the ones that I have on there, and I'm gonna go through them still, even though you just said them. Number one, got to go with the poster on Kansas State. Big 12 opponent. You had no mercy for them. You said, I don't care who you are, where you come from. I'm dunking on your head. So you drove down the lane after a great handoff by your teammate and punched it on their big man's head. Great posterize right there. And then number two, that Houston Christian dunk that you talked about as well, another big time poster. Retook the lead 58 to 57 also, where you ended up driving in, went right past the defender, and once again, boom, right there on his head tapping moment. Uh,
Yeah.
Number three, that shot clock beating three from deep. I mean, you were deep, deep. You were Steph Curry deep right there. Versus Northwestern State, ended up pushing your team back in front by one on that one. So, absolutely incredible plays that you were able to do. And that last 5 game stretch that you had of your season, you really found your way to score. And obviously, you said, you went through the mental health part and all that, and you finally found your rhythm. How good was that to really feel, that rhythm once again, to where you went off for a career high 28 points against East Texas A&M, followed by 24 points against Northwestern State? How were you really able to get things to get into that flow and have it all click together for you once again?
Man, it started at practice, honestly. And then, well, it started with my daily routine. You know, I had to wake up and tell myself, like, this is something that I want to do, and I got to make sure I do it. And I'm gonna make sure I do it to the best of my ability. And just having that type of mindset is like when you have it and then you go do it, it make your life feel easier. So it's like, honestly, I feel like I don't know if you play the game, but like it's like when you get that takeover and it's like you just can't miss. It's like the bucket is like this big, like everything is just it's going in. So it's like the routine, my me just telling myself I can do it and just putting the work in at the same time, man. And it just things started happening for me.
Hey, absolutely, man. I do not know that feeling from three. I know it from mid-range. I used to hit the mid-range. Definitely could not hit the three when I was younger, during my playing days, but that's part of the reason why I'm sitting behind a desk now instead of on the court. So, but I mean, you yourself, you still managed to put up some great numbers. That last stretch really helped boost your numbers overall on the season. Nearly 8 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, an assist and a half per game. Shot a career high 36% from beyond the arc. Really managed to up that 3-point percentage and your free throw percentage as well. I mentioned the 28-point game against East Texas A&M. You also had 7 boards and 4 steals in that game. The 24 against Northwestern State, and then 18 points on 70% shooting against Houston Christian at home. So you were able to have such an efficient year overall, even though the season for the team as a whole obviously didn't go the way you guys were planning. But that non-conference schedule, man, that was very tough, in my opinion. You played 6 Power 5 teams in non-conference, including number 17 Baylor, Texas, and Vanderbilt, who all made it to the national tournament. So tough teams right off the bat. I know Iowa was in there as well, obviously Kansas State. Talk to me about the strength of schedule that you guys had and how that impacted the team overall during this non-conference action.
And honestly, we played since I've been here, we've always played some high level teams. Uh and I actually had the chance to play the number one team in the country, Purdue, my sophomore year, I think it was. But I mean, it's like after a while you get kind of used to it. It's like they just like me. They gotta wake up, tie their shoes the same way I tie my shoes. So it's like I don't really see those Power Five teams like being too much high level. They just execute their things way better than we do. And sometimes the sides be a little different. But I mean, overall, man, that playing those type of teams be fun. It help you get better for like conference play, honestly.
Yeah, and overall on the season, unfortunately, you guys were going through a whole rebuild type thing. I mentioned the 3 returners, whole new coaching staff, obviously tons of newcomers, and you guys went 4-27 overall, 2-18 in Southland action. But there was one game towards the start of the season, an overtime win against Tulane, that I remember watching that game as well, and I'm like, okay, this team can put some pieces together, and you guys have high level scoring. Had a great freshman in MJ Thomas who really dominated the post.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, next 10 games, you guys ended up falling short. So, what would you say in that Tulane game really clicked for you guys to where you were able to come out on top against a winning American Conference team on the season overall for the Green Wave, but weren't able to really execute the same way throughout the season as a whole?
Uh, Man, honestly, playing them, we've been trying to get Tulane on the schedule. So we felt like it was rival, city versus city. So, and then our crowd was in there, so it wasn't so lopsided. And then, uh, I don't know, man. We just had that pop. We wanted to get Coach Stacy his first win. So it was like, well, his first D1 win. Uh, because we did beat the team before, but yeah, man, we poured the water on them and everything. It was crazy. But we definitely had some juice. But from there, I don't know, man. I can't really describe like what happened with us. Like, because, well, I can tell you one thing. A lot of times, like, we broke down on defense and then we wasn't executing the way Coach Stacy wanted us to execute. So that was another big. The reason why we would lose a lot of those games. And rebounding, man. Rebounding killed us. It was undersized. So it's like we are giving teams too many second chance points. And Coach Stacey always said, like, if they get a second chance three off a rebound, it's gonna go in 9 times out of 10. And sure enough, they was going in. So yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, I know you guys didn't have the size as you had, couple your first 3 years there. I know you had Simeon Kirkland, very close friend of mine, 6'10", Deontay Bell and Tyson Jackson, both around 6'9", 6'8". Jamel Myers, who I went to high school with, he was about 6'6", 6'7". And I believe MJ Thomas was you guys' tallest player. He was like 6'8", somewhere around there. And then after
Yep.
that, the next tallest was around 6'5", 6'4", which is your height. So
Well,
obviously,
we had another one. He just got hurt. He was about 6'7", 6'6". We got another guy. He got hurt during the Troy game. It
uh,
was Yeah, it was pretty bad. That
yeah.
was crazy.
That's unfortunate for you guys. Injuries always take that hit, but
Yep.
obviously you got to finish your college career. Now you're looking to go pro, looking to go overseas, sign with an agent, and find the best fit for yourself to continue your basketball career. But I do want to ask you, having those 3 years under Celeste, and now this past year under a new coaching staff, what would you say this past year you learned and grew in specifically that you may not have been able to grow in the same way under the previous coaching staff?
I mean, Basie is like he gives you like the game in a different way. I want to say it like that because he brings it to you stats wise, and then he'll come like overall like the game. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like he'll really sit down in the office and write things down or like I watch him do math. Like with your stats, your shooting percentage, this like how you are on the floor, like he break it down in so many ways. Now Sless like he'll tell me like he'll try to get me motivated to play, but he wouldn't break the game down like how Stacy broke the game down to me. So that part, even with the other coaches too, like the assistant coaches that they have, like they do a really good job of breaking things down. But yeah, I think that's a good takeaway that Stacy he really he knows what he's talking about for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah, and obviously he got to coach a great player in yourself. A lot of great talents on that team. I mentioned MJ Thomas, phenomenal freshman. And I always try to find great players to have on, great personalities to have on this podcast to really get your guys' names out as much as I can. And obviously, you and I both know people need to know the name Jamond Vincent, not just because of the dunks, but now because of the Steph Curry threes you're knocking down as well. And I'm always trying to find more names, and that's exactly why I have this segment that I like to call Who's Up Next. In this segment, you can actually give me some names that I can reach out to, have on the podcast this year, next year, and so on to get their names out there as well. Two rules, though. First of which, you got to help me get them on, which I know you do. You do that all the time already, so thank you for that. And number two, you got to give me at least one name that was not with New Orleans this past season.
One name that was not with New Orleans. I mean, do you know Daniel Ortiz?
Daniel Ortiz. Yes, I've had him on in the past actually as well. I got to see him in person when North Alabama played FGCU this year.
Okay, he's a good one. Uh, who can I name? Um, Dorian Finister, who played for Sam Houston. He just committed to Raging Cajun. He's another good prospect. Well, he probably be a junior now, right? Juniors, yeah, I think he's gonna be a junior because he played at K-State his freshman year. Yeah, okay. Uh, he's a good one. I can't really think off top. I gotta remember because they be on my timeline, so I could reference them to you. Probably once I get off the Zoom call.
Oh, I feel you on that one. And I know you guys had a lot of talented pieces with New Orleans. Who are some of the most talented ones, most personality wise, biggest personality guys that you think I should have on the podcast where they make for some good interviews?
MJ for sure. MJ, he a bright kid. Um, I mean, who else can I say? Leland was another one. Leland is probably one of the ones that you probably want to get on, man. Leland, he he liked to talk about the game for real. Uh, Cohen was well, Cohen was very quiet, but he another one. He when he talked, you'd be like, I like this kid. Uh, and Grant for sure.
Hey, there we go. There's some great names. Definitely can't wait to have them on, reach out to them, have them on the podcast. And that right there, that's a great segment of who's up next. Great names. And now we got to talk about what's next for yourself. Obviously, you're going pro, you're going overseas, doing what you can do to continue your basketball career for years to come. What are you really doing to attack this off season as far as improving your skill set even more to have a long pro career? And where are you at in the process right now as far as getting an agent and finding your place in that kind of system?
As far as the agent, I haven't found one yet, but I've been talking to some people. Um, I actually have a couple people that's overseas who said their agent has been looking for players. So definitely trying to get in with that. Um, and overall, I've been in the gym a whole lot, man. I've been trying to work on new things, trying to increase my ball handle, you know, and just trying to stay strong and healthy, man. I know over the years I had to deal with back injury a lot. So I've been and surprisingly this year I didn't have to do that. So I feel like I've been doing a good job, but I'm trying to stay up with that, honestly.
There you go, man. Definitely can't wait to see what the pro career is going to look like for Jamond Vincent. Definitely excited to see what you do and all the posterizing that you're going to be doing at the professional level here next year. And a year from now, we're going to be talking about your rookie season and showing off even more of your big time highlights, man. And you always have a place on the podcast with the Slim Sports brand. You're a part of the Slim Sports family. I'm always going to check on you, make sure you're good. If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out, man. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hop on the podcast once again.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me.